Hello, thank you for coming along with this video. I'm very grateful for your time. There is I don't know. Boy, it's still going. Okay, so there's a very loud storm going on outside, and as such, I thought I would make a recital version of Sadly as a Storm, my prose poem is contained in this book, Songs Without Music. It's in both editions. This is a hardback, but it's in paperback. Well, it's Saturday night by the sound of your sighs. If not here, then it is somewhere else in the world, where the rain don't shine unless it's reflected in the light of a barrel house moon, and the sun never breaks through the smog clouds in your heart, girl. I remember the last time I saw you in that dress that made the bloodhounds bay. I knew you were something else, but I never knew what. Well, I was already out there, and I knew that I couldn't stay. And you told me your deepest secret, but I still forgot. I've got 100 Midas memories, and that's my curse. And you've got a bookcase full of questions about stuff that's just too unreal. You were holding a dagger and a stopwatch, and I don't know which one hurt worse. I gave you all I had, but you still felt obliged to steal. We really needed a break, but one never seemed to come up. We had to stumble blind, and we didn't even know who we were. I saw you stare him in the eye, say good morning, and check his pulse. But all that labyrinth charm couldn't prevent him from waking up with her. I took the easy route to your heart, but I still got lost. I had to count the cost, that evening which you rode off with my past. I made 15 grave mistakes, and all of them were down to you. All I wanted was a good night's sleep, but the hours went by so fast. Maybe I was born equal, but I'd rather have been born lucky. I wasn't paid to think, but I did, and that's what scared us both the most. Our love's midwife did all she could, but it still went down at birth. So I've carved a heart in the dust of the tombstone where we laid its ghost. I drove you into town that evening you were breaking down. You said, call me when I'm in hardship, but I got delayed. I rode there like an airwave cruiser, but you were under the bridge by the time I got there. You looked brave till you got to jail, then your eyes glazed afraid. You were holding up well, but then the coroner came down and body searched you. You used your theory charm, but I could see he wasn't impressed. I saved you a corner of my soul. I hope that'll do. You reacted too soon, but I suppose it was for the best. I heard you talking to yourself, but I didn't like what you said. Maybe it didn't concern me, but I still felt involved. You had a lot of butterfly thoughts. I should have collected them in a jar. Then we would have had somewhere to look when this needed to be resolved. We had parallel points of view, but our attitude, it wasn't the same. You could never orphan your mind in the way that I did. Your brother brought frankincense and myrrh, but we saw through his game. He said, Pandora's box holds the gold, but we knew better to lift that lid. We know where the problem lies, but getting there, that's a different thing. I can't wear the same clothes that I used to in the old days. We took a fast cab into Limbo, and I heard the Purple Wolf sing. I could ease your pain, but I can't change your ways. You know, I still think fondly about that trip we took to Tragedy Point, where the bottom line got drawn by the tide in sand. I was standing next to your reflection, trying to preserve what privacy you had left. But the stolen tapes turned up and it all got out of hand. I was seeing the new year in a bank vault of remorse. Extortion rears its head when bribery sleeps. I took your standing back to the desert where you were thrown off by your horse. After the flood subsides, we see how much dry land they let us keep. You still scream at night, and it pierces me right through to my soul. I used to know you once, but that's not the you I see now. We're just reading words that someone else is holding up on cards. There's nothing broken easier than a lover's vow. You sent me a tear once in a letter, but it got to me too late to do any good. I was looking for something I could use right there and then. I wrote no name on my passport. You said you'd get me a new one if you only could. I've got the truth in reserve, and I'll use it if you'll tell me when. We strolled into Death Valley like the innocents that we were. We watched the wind roll by, and we followed its trail to the end. And on the back lot of remorse, we had to make a decision over who we preferred. You used your smile like a surgeon to cut through me. That's when I saw it was all pretend. I caught your picture in the paper one day while I was just browsing. It looked like you, but these days, it's pretty hard to tell. There's so many forgeries out there. You don't know who's for real and who ain't. But I still come coming every time I hear you yell. I followed you down to New Mexico, where I picked up your trail in a strip joint by the sea. You were dressed like me, and I took that as a compliment. You were miming to the Declaration of Independence. Then your car pulled out, and nobody seemed to know where it went. I looked at the photos of that night we watched The Late Show in bed, when you said you'd be the, but only if I could commit. I didn't have any direction. I didn't then, and I sure as hell don't now. I've got a lot of Clipper's clothes, it's true, but none of them fit. Well, the good times got to be 20 years old before you look back on them. So you can't remember how they were, or else you just crumble and fall. There's too many false doctors prescribing too much of what they call medicine, and describing your dreams to whoever picks up the phone and calls. Me, I dream about a decent car crash. I get everyone in my position does. Or a good disguise, one that the mirror can't penetrate. I don't want to be in the big top, being forced to do tricks anymore. I called you to come collect me. Why did you hesitate? We've both been past the end so many times. How come we manage still to survive? We've been resurrected more times than I can count. There's so much stashed above our wardrobes. None of it was contrived. But this elevator's on fire, honey. I got to get out. Meet me at the waterhole. That was the message that you left for me. But you never said which one, and I was too weary to choose. When I woke up, I was sweating. I had a dream that nobody should see. And you offered up a cure, knowing I was in no position to refuse. I remember you saying to me at least 100 times, nobody can live like you do, not even you. Well, I was determined to make it, but I got lost and got charged for all the crimes. I was still trying to put things straight when the whole damn deal fell through. We seem to have a lot of possessions, for whatever that might be worth. We'd be better off spending what's in our souls and not in our purse. We're only here for a short time, but it's a lifetime nonetheless. Some days I don't know if that's a blessing or a curse. Everybody has immoral thoughts. There's nothing too wrong in that. It's what you do about it that makes you the kind of person that you are. I'd like to know who you think about when you're in the desert and your wheels go flat. Do you say you're sorry, or go out and steal a new car? I know from your expressions you've tried to be nice in all the right places. But when it was you and me, the moments were few and far between. Can't really start regretting now. Anyway, we're not wearing our real faces. I saw you on that TV show. That was the best lying I've ever seen. A lot of evil gets done in the name of charity. People hide behind it like a shield to do their evil deeds. When you're 90 seconds from touchdown, it's a good time to start to believe. But it's too late then to start considering other people's needs. Someone bought you a mountain so you'd have a place to hide when things got rough and comfort was a thing of the past. But you were stranded on the Salt Lakes, mapping out your pride, playing the part of someone when you weren't even in the cast. People dream of making money, but mainly they make mistakes. Then they violently try and put the blame in another place. There's rules about such things, but the rule makers are the biggest fakes. While they smile, they're sneering at you on their second face. I've been running a temperature for quite some time now, but I get the cold shivers still every time you walk in the room. I don't know which part of you is me or which part of me is you. I've been suffering for so long now, I think I'd welcome witnessing its doom. I asked you when you were sleeping last night, do we know what the truth is anymore? You never answered. Maybe you wouldn't, even if you could. But this ain't our lane we're travelling in. I know that much for sure. If we got somewhere else to go, then I think that we should. After all this time, I think we've both become 13 other people. Our skin might look the same, but really, that's just about all. There's too many emotions hidden in the storeroom now. It's like a war horn in a battle. You don't move until you hear it call. Where are those guys who threw stones in the lake that June dust saying, they'll never take us? I tell you, They're working for the corporation, just like all the rest. They never got those poems done, or those paintings. They never wrote those songs. They laid down and died inside, kept selling out until they both had nothing left. It was all a pantomime then, but it's a lot more sinister now. The whole damn thing went bad, and it's left us with nowhere to run. There's no vacancies left of the Dream Factory. Sign says closed. But the Hotel Oblivion's got rooms for everyone. You know, it's pretty easy to be scathing in this day and age. Just pick your target, load, take aim, and fire. The emergency phones are always out, and the truth was always hard to gauge. It's like the bikini test results. It only gets delivered by liars. Something always drew us back, but now it's drawing us apart. The same force that keeps us together will destroy us if we don't take care. We see too much in self-focus, and real life is the best place to start. By the time we reached it, well, somehow, it was no longer there. They tell you don't build castles out of sand, but they miss the point. I'd rather have a thing of beauty for a day than something hideous for a year. They can animate a heart now, but they can't make it feel. They can build electronic eyes, but they can't make one shed a tear. They show you into the system, but they make you check your free will at the door. They say, you won't need that no more. We'll look after you from here on in. Give you a rule book and a set of laws, just so you know the score. Yeah, we were going to fight it, but we didn't know where or how we should begin. One time when you weren't thinking, you said, I always keep an alibi in reserve. Well, it's getting late. Might be a good idea for us to use it, if that's all right. There's some heavy burdens we're bearing, more than we deserve. It used to be a game, but now it's turned into a fatal fight. I was reading my book in my sleep, well, just recently. Maybe it's presumptuous. Remember those people that knew us, but they really don't. They quote us, and yet you and me were the only ones there. You said you wouldn't fire on a flag of truce, but I'm not so certain that they won't. I always wondered who you'd turn to. It was either going to be death or God. I don't know if I'm grateful to be a witness to it either way. There were no suspicious circumstances. That struck me as somewhat odd. Whether it was through wisdom or ignorance, nobody had anything to say. I was always kind of a tyrant when it came to matters of the heart. I never loved myself, so how was I supposed to love you? I could have had it made, but I found it easier to tear it apart. I was in a knot that was too tight for anybody to undo. Well, we could both be outrageous, if you can be proud of that. If we could have been courageous, we might have made it. Who knows? Now I'm wearing recriminations, like an old soldier wears his regimental hat. Do nostalgia and self-hatred mix? Let's see how it goes. I wish you could have stuck around longer. I'd have liked to see how this movie ends. There are no stars in it, just rejects from an out-of-town play. We've been inside each other, and now we can't even be friends. I think we were broken too badly for anyone to fix us. Anyway. sadly as a storm from my book. Songs of that music, recited in a storm. Should we just lie here and listen? Just sit here and listen to the rain for a little while? Soothing and cleansing at the same time, yeah? Brings a peace to the soul. It's a hypnotic refrain. All the leaves are out there dancing under its tune. Pretty patterns running down the window pane. Hush-a-bye, dear baby, go to sleep. Papa's going to keep you safe from war. When you wake up, your soul will be mine to keep. Smile freely and never be forlorn.